So some YouTube chat logs got leaked and man, it is bad. So YouTube staffers apparently deliberately aimed for viewer addiction. They actually killed safety tools for kids, and this was actually revealed in court documents. So some YouTube employees admitted that their goal was, quote, viewer addiction, and killed proposed safety tools for kids because they wouldn't provide a sufficient return on investment, according to bombshell court documents reviewed by the Post, which is the New York Post over here. It includes internal chat logs and presentations from YouTube employees, and they were actually revealed in court because YouTube, Meta, Snap, and TikTok are all defendants right now in a bunch of court cases where they're actually getting sued for having social media addiction. In a deposition in the case last March, John Harding, a longtime vice president of engineering at YouTube, was confronted by plaintiff's attorneys with an internal email from June 7, 2012, in which a YouTube employee whose name was redacted stated the goal is not viewership, it's viewer addiction. Harding, who again is a very senior employee at YouTube, confirmed that the email was authentic but dodged responsibility, claiming that staffers were discussing a, quote, video creation app that wasn't even built for viewers. The next portion of the exchange between Harding and the attorney is redacted. And this is obviously coming after last week when Google and Meta were actually found liable for social media addiction, and they were actually sued by this 20-year-old woman who claimed that she was addicted to their platforms that the companies had made, and they had to pay her like $6 million in damages or something like that. So obviously this contradicts public statements from executives who have claimed that the app was never meant to be addictive, and any harmful outcomes for kids are due to third-party content rather than its intentional app design choices. The problem with this and what's going to happen is that a lot of these age verification politicians who keep pushing ID age verification down our throats are probably going to be referencing this saying, see, YouTube is addictive and they're trying to make it addictive. That's why everybody needs to hand over an ID. But anyways, during the state trial last month, YouTube executive Christos Goodrow testified that the app was, quote, not designed to maximize time and the company doesn't, quote, want anyone to be addicted. The summer's federal case in Oakland, however, includes an internal YouTube presentation from April 2018 recounting study findings that, quote, excessive video watching is related to addiction and that it results in a quick fix of dopamine. So this is a screenshot from that alleged YouTube presentation. And as you can see, there's an addiction cycle over here. So you start off with using the platform, then you have guilt, and then there's an emotional trigger, craving, ritual, and then you go back to using it again. In YouTube's bullet points over here, they say watching short videos results in a quick fix of dopamine. Dopamine is related to feelings of reward, similar to feelings of reward when using, I'm not going to say that word because I'm probably going to get demonetized, or other addictive substances. Researchers feel that YouTube is built with the intention of being addictive, designed with tricks to encourage binge watching like autoplay, recommendations, etc. These, quote, tricks have become routine and technology and well-being need to meet. So obviously this is a terrible look for YouTube. They always claim that, they have like the proper tools to make sure people don't get addicted to their platforms. And I, just my personal opinion, I honestly think that if your kid gets addicted to YouTube as a parent, that is your fault. You need to be monitoring what they're doing on the internet. But it doesn't exactly look good for YouTube when their own employees are basically saying, yeah, we kind of want people to be addicted to these platforms. There were other screenshots from that internal YouTube presentation that were interesting, like this one. YouTube stickiness is caused by the interactive nature of our platform. YouTube allows for users to watch videos, but also to interact with creators and other viewers. Users receive notifications when someone makes a post or comment on a video. That interactive behavior gratifies user needs, causes users to feel that they must be aware of what is happening on the platform, and keeps users on the platform longer. It almost seems like a sick, twisted plan to keep people watching YouTube forever. Here's another one. Videos are initially used for quick mood management but result in excessive viewing. Survey research suggests that video watching is a common technique for mood management. Respondents reported watching cat videos to be in a more positive mood more quickly. Yeah, we went from watching real cat videos to a bunch of AI slop cat videos, but anyways, after one video is over, it is difficult to stop watching the videos. Ultimately, viewers experience feelings of guilt for spending so much time doing non-meaningful tasks. YouTube users control what they want to watch. YouTube is different from TV because users can decide what they want to watch. I think this bullet point is hilarious because now YouTube is making this big push into TV. But anyways, users will spend more time on the platform because they continue to watch things that interest them. Studies showed that content people watch correlates with their personality characteristics, like sensation seeking, and notifications are a critical part of YouTube and contribute to addiction. Users are tempted to watch videos the moment they are uploaded. Yeah, so like I said, not a good look for YouTube. U.S. District Judge Yvonne Gonzalez-Rogers is presiding over a case that centralizes more than 2,000 pending lawsuits against social media firms that make similar allegations. A group of school districts has a trial date in June, while a coalition of state attorney generals will face off against big tech's attorneys beginning in August. So a Google spokesperson actually talked about this and said, these cherry-picked decade-old excerpts mischaracterize our responsible product design's work. In fact, they prove our teams proactively identify challenges to ensure our products prioritize high-quality, age-appropriate experiences. But the company's own research, however, estimated that an eye-popping 32 million users aged 13 to 24 years old were classified as habitual heavy use and watched more than 2 hours of videos per per day, while 36 million users 18 to 24 said they regretted how much time they spent on YouTube in the past week, and that data was from 2018. But in those court findings, they were able to actually find some more recent stuff as well. An internal presentation titled Teen Unsupervised Viewer Wellbeing and Safety, YouTube employees admitted that the app's infinite feed was a big part of the problem. Employees wrote that the app's two biggest challenges were video recommendations that normalize unhealthy beliefs or behaviors, and prolonged use that was displacing valuable activities like time with friends or sleep. These concerns are loudest on short-form content, which, now is worse than it's ever been, more popular with teens due to its lack of depth and infinite feed experience, the document said. Man, YouTube is going to be in trouble if the court sees Capwing's AI slop documentation over here, because short-form content is not only taking over YouTube, but it is worse than it's ever been. The documents, which range from 2012 through 2025, were unsealed in late February and compiled by the Tech Oversight Project, an online watchdog group that has emerged as one of big tech's most vocal critics. YouTube's posture in court is that they aren't a social media platform, but their own executives don't even buy that theory. These explosive documents show that YouTube set out to deliberately addict children and teens because it produced more screen time to deliver ads and more data to funnel into Google's surveillance business. They see our kids as pawns to make their next $1 trillion, and it's past time that we break this noxious status quo. Now, I totally agree with that, but what is going to worry me is that if these people use these statements to go ahead and push ID age verification themselves, because if they do that, then everybody is the bad guy here. YouTube has obviously messed up so many times. For years, my channel has been dedicated to just talking about how much YouTube keeps messing up. But again, we can't paint these guys as heroes either if they use all this information to say, see, social media is addictive. That's why we need everybody to hand over an ID. While discussing an internal presentation about YouTube's autoplay feature dated September 14, 2021, one employee asked if the team had explored tools aimed at helping users fall asleep. It was something we looked into, but it generally just wasn't as high a ROI compared to some of the other projects, a YouTube project manager replied. Elsewhere, in a 2019 strategy offsite presentation, employees wrote that YouTube's goal of driving more frequent daily usage is not well aligned with our efforts to improve digital well-being. And another document reveals that YouTube executives took steps to cover their tracks and prevent future scrutiny of its practices. During an April 2nd, 2025 deposition, James Besser, a senior YouTube executive focused on child safety, admitted that his team would keep, quote, history off in internal chat rooms, a move he claimed was intended to assist junior folks who would sometimes reread them and take things out of context. A plaintiff's attorney pressed Besser on whether anybody senior at YouTube had ever instructed him to turn off history on his chats, and he said, I don't recall ever being told that. The history off issue had popped up in other high-profile lawsuits involving Google. Multiple federal judges have ripped Google for destroying chat logs that should have been preserved, including U.S. District Judge James Donato, who furiously condemned the practice during a 2023 antitrust case as a, quote, frontal assault on the fair administration of justice that undercuts due process. So then a Los Angeles jury ordered Google and fellow defendant Meta last week to pay a combined $6 million in damages, with the YouTube parent responsible for 30% and Facebook and Instagram parent responsible for the other 70%. So yeah, like I said before, I am all for YouTube, Meta, and all these shady companies who go ahead and take our information to get punished. I am all for that, right? However, a lot of times when people try to punish these social media companies, they just use it as an excuse to do their own collection of data, which is the collection of our biometric data through ID age verification. So I am happy that YouTube got exposed, and hopefully they keep getting exposed for the bad practices, but I just hope it doesn't lead to more ID age verification, because I, as well as I'm sure you guys, are tired of being asked to hand over our information. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on the situation in the comments. Please leave a like in the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more. See ya.